Okay, guys, so today I wanted to read some more folk tales. This one's from the Slavic world, which I guess mostly Russian. Most of these are from Russia, because, Russia is the biggest part, and I can tell these have some Russian words in them. Translate to Russian, so... Okay, so the first one is called The Reluctant Werewolves. So, yeah, werewolves or lycanthropes or, I guess originated there, whatever. Now it starts a revered figure in Slav myth, the changeling sorcerer, or Oborotin, could take on almost any form, be it a stone, a haystack, or a ball of string, or even an animal or bird. Yet not all changelings were willing participants in their transformation. So I guess to some it just happened spontaneously. They didn't choose it. The word Oberton was also used to describe those whose appearance was changed against their will, those whom some sorcerer had condemned to inhabit an alien form. These were no malevolent beasts, but tragic victims of evil magic. The most notorious of these changelings was the Volkudluk, or werewolf. There are numerous examples in Slavic folklore of these unwilling werewolves. A Polish story tells of a young man who was loved by a witch, but who scorned her passion, little guessing the danger he was in. One day, grazing his cattle in the woods, he decided he would cut some wood. As he raised his axe, however, he saw his hands becoming paws before his very eyes. He looked on helplessly while his fingernails turned into curling claws, and great tufts of hair started to sprout all over his body. When he ran to his cows, intending to herd them quickly home, they stampeded in abject terror. He sought to call them back, but could only howl. To his horror, he realized he was now a wild and lonely werewolf. In Belarusia, it was said, a slighted sorcerer once blighted a whole wedding feast, not allowing anybody to leave in the form in which they had arrived. The groom and the other men were changed into werewolves, the women into chattering magpies. The magpie was often associated with witchcraft. The bride herself was left until last. Then she became a cuckoo and searched for her husband far and wide, seeking him endlessly with the same monotonous, melancholy cry. Yeah, I guess, unfortunately, birds, even though their songs are kind of pretty, it's nice to listen to, they have a limited range. I mean, if you were a bird, you can only make so many sounds, or at least they sound almost identical. So, again, this book is illustrated, or at least it claims to be the illustrated tales, and this is the only picture in here which, I don't know, I guess it's people turning into werewolves or something. Now, there's one more story that I thought would be nice enough to, include in this now. This one's called A Hero from the Holy Mountains. The epic hero, or Bogatyr Sviatogor, a warrior of apparently peerless strength and courage, met his match when he least expected it. His tale comes from one of the earliest extant cycles of Bielini, or songs, celebrating the mythical other heroes. One day, Sviatogor prepared to set out on a long journey across the steppes. He whistled a familiar tune and stroked his steed as he strapped on his favorite saddle. Then he leaped up and set off at a gallop. Sviatogor felt full of life. He clenched his hands on the reins, exulting in his own strength, so great that it was like a weight he carried around. He laughed as he looked across the immense plain and shouted a boast that he was strong enough to lift the earth in his bare hands. Well, the entire earth, the planet. Then he saw a saddlebag on the ground before him. Curious, the great warrior brought his horse to a halt and tried to flick the bag up with his whip handle, but it would not move. Next, he leaned down and attempted to raise it with his finger, but it was as heavy as a boulder. Still in the saddle, he tried to shift the bag with one hand, without success. Again, Sviatogor laughed, for he realized the bag was enchanted, and that meant a challenge. Down he leaped and took the sack with both hands. Roaring with the effort, he succeeded in lifting the bag to the level of his knees. But when he looked down, he saw that he had sunk deep into the earth, and that the bag still rested on the ground. Red drops splashed onto his arms, for tears of blood were pouring from his eyes. Sviatogor tried to clamber out, but he was trapped, held magically by the clinging soil. After a while, his faithful horse abandoned him. The Bogatyr bitterly regretted his boast, and in that lonely place, the great man met his demise, slowly wasting away under the unheeding sky. So I guess that story was about don't be sure of yourself. So how pride, I guess, or I don't know, sometimes these are just made up things people use to entertain children or whatever. So, yep, just two stories I wanted to share, and see, the horse is the one picture illustrated here in A Hero from the Holy Mountains. So, yeah, I'll see you next time.